You know, sometimes people don't realize that they hold on to something for too long and God might be trying to push you in a different direction, okay? So fast forward to 2018 and life is going really well. The United Nations named me one of the top 5 most influential people of the African diaspora, and things are just churning. And then I started getting this message from God around June 2018, and he just keeps saying, wait. And I'm like, what am I waiting on, Lord? And so I used to have a condo down here by Buffalo Beach. And I said, okay, I'm gonna just go down to Hampton for 2 months and just sit in my condo and wait, okay? So after about 2 months, I was like, okay, God, what's up? What waiting on? And he still kept going, wait. So I was like, so then I got Capital One asked me to do something in Delaware. And I was like, okay, Lord, I will wait, but I'm gonna wait in Delaware while I'm on the stage. And then, you know, you can just tap me whenever you're ready, you know. And I wasn't listening, okay? January 3rd, 2019, I break my spine. And I ended up paralyzed for 7 weeks and on bed rest for 3 months. And I was like, I told you, wait. I told you to sit still. And so that ended up being a very big moment in my life of reflection. And God did want me to wait. And in that moment, I decided to transition from credit stacker and ended up coming up with credit rich. And if it was not for that waiting period of me slowing down and not just trying to run what I thought was best, instead of listening to the message and the vision that he was imparting on me, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I ended up coming up with Credit Rich. Credit Rich was an audacious dream. There had never been a Blac company to partner with a credit bureau. To even think of something like that, you sound crazy. So I sat back and I said, how can I be a billionaire? You know, in 2019, after I broke my back, I won't say the name of the company, but I ended up getting offered $350 million for credit staffing. And they said it so casually. Wow. And with them saying it so casually, I said, that you didn't strain to say that. So what is it worth? So I went to go see one of my mentors who owns a big gas company. He's worth about $60 billion, and he lives at the top of a mountain. It takes 2 hours to be able to drive to him, an hour alone just on the mountain. And so I get to him, and I say, how much of this do you own? And he said, I don't know, how far can you see? I said, I thought so. And so I asked him, I tell him my dilemma. I asked him, do you think I should take it? And he looked at me like I was discussing Abe Lincoln pennies. And he said, Angel, tell me what you really want to do. It takes the same amount of time to make $1 million as it does to make 100 million, as it does to make $1 billion. So why not focus on the billions? And I said, I felt like I was playing with sandpaper after that. Like, what am I doing with my life? Am I joking with myself? Am I having a circumstantial vision on my life? Like, nah, let me dream bigger. And so I sat back, I went and I analyzed everything, and I said, who's having the biggest acquisitions? Who's having the biggest IPOs? I realized it was fintech. I said, I'm already in that space, that's perfect. I said, what's missing in the market? I realized people needed help with their credit. I said, I'm already in that space, that's perfect. But what's different? What am I missing? I realized that people needed actual help. I said, it's almost like they want me to do the work for them. Then I said, I got it. Why don't I just do the work for them? So for the first time ever, we're doing the work mobile banking, credit reports, and your online payments in one app. In one app. That doesn't exist anywhere else. So we are extremely proud to be in partnership with Experian, as well as FICO. Not only are we the first Black company to partner with a credit bureau, but we're also the first tech company, period, that Experian has co-innovated a product with. They are not on Credit Karma. So we're excited about that. We're also excited to have the FICO partnership. So our credit score is updated in real time every 5 seconds. This is extremely important because I'm sure many of you have incurred inquiries in the past from checking your credit score. Well, with us, you are able to check it every 30 days without penalty. And it's your real, actual score. We've also created our own credit report, so you don't have to guess to be able to interpret it, to be able to figure out what's going on with it. We've also created a feature where if you want to help Blair's nephews and nieces out, I'm just making this up, you're able to give them your spare change to help them, go to Hampton University. All of these various different things help to continue to go along the way. And then on top of that, we're integrating Credit Stacker into it, and then we also have the Wealthy Life Financial Literacy Curriculum that goes from birth to retirement with 12 interactive modules that we've also turned into what we call GEMS, granular education modules. There are these 10-minute segments of financial education to help you transform your skills. So by the time you have the entertainment from Credit Stacker and the actual functionality from Credit Rich and the knowledge from Wealthy Life, it is impossible for you not to have the proper financial education to truly take hold of your life and to be able to transform your life. Thank you. So that is what we are on a mission to do. And I would be remiss if I did not also talk about history of the Black dollar. So another diamond I'm going to drop here. As I was going through my struggle, and I got turned down by 43 North, 1 month before I got named the next Steve Jobs, I released my book, History of the Black Dollar, because I refused to take the conversation of lack of access to capital laying down. I don't know how many of you know, to this day, there's less than 100 Black women to raise over $1 million for tech companies. The figure is 0.02%. I'm blessed to be number 37, but it wasn't always that time. So I created History of the Black Dollar because I realized that our economic history was neglected from our history pages. You know, how many people know that Booker T. Washington wrote a book called Negroes in Business in 1907? 1 hand. 2 hands. Now I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you read the Diary of Anne Frank. Oh, a lot more hands, right? I wonder why. Well, it just might be because it's mandated across the country. Now tell me the book of a child slave or of the Jim Crow era that is mandated. Oh, there isn't one. So when I'm speaking at Harvard University School of Education, and I'm asking people to raise your hand if you know that the Industrial Revolution was paid for by cotton off of the back of free slaves because they were receiving it for free and they were able to sell cotton at a higher quality than the rest of the country. And Harvard School of Education is unaware of that. How can we be on the same page as a country if we are not reading from the same book? And I truly believe the Holocaust Museum was my favorite museum growing up. I used to go to it every year. And in 2016, when there was the only, I'm a little young, so the only sort of Jewish uprising that I've seen in my lifetime was in 2016. And so I saw everybody corralling around the Jewish community. And I said, this is so interesting. Like, why is it that everybody is quick to help the Jewish community for something that happened 4 years in another is because of the diary of Anne Frank. Because when you think about the Jewish community, you relate to Lil Ann. You think about her in the closet and in the attic. You empathize with her. But you don't have that for the Black community. It's almost like the black community knowledge of the Native American community. Think about how much Native American knowledge we know. So if we're not reading from the same book, if we're not all being educated about the same subject, I promise you it's not all racism. There is a level of education that needs to happen for us to be able to have financial agriculture, for us to be able to come together. So I see this history book as an imperative, not just to the Black community, but to the American community, so that we can all come together and understand our economic history as a united front. So for all the schools and elected officials that's out here, I hope you guys are truly hearing this. And I already know, I was on the board of 1619, so I already know that the state of Virginia is very interested in history of the Black dollar. And I believe that is how we are going to be able to close a lot of the wealth gap. We simply have to be able to come together in understanding of what we need to do as a united front for the Black dollar and for America's economy in general.